All right, so we are back once again with a ET channeled reading, and this time we're talking to the vibrant and powerful Seenthana. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey.
Yeah, it's really nice to be here. I've been waiting and chomping at the bit, very not patiently, but if you will, waiting.
Very good. Well, listen, why don't you just share a little bit about your journey, yourself, what you're doing, and then that usually gets the juices going and the light beings start talking after that.
Um, I guess to put it a little simply without shelling out every detail, we'd be here forever. But I had a pretty interesting entire life journey. Pretty much every mental and mind, you name it, it came at me. I learned that lesson. So I definitely came here to master the mental, mind, emotional.
Okay, I think we've got a little bit of an internet hiccup there. I don't know if you can hear me, Seenthana, but you are stuck. You're frozen. There
Yeah,
it
I'm
is.
still
There she
here.
is. Okay, good.
Yeah, you were in slow motion.
I was in slow motion and you were
So
stuck.
yeah, I just had a real tough. Yeah, you were like. So yeah, I never felt like I guess you could put it easily like the black sheep. I never felt like I belonged to my family. I thought everything they did was pretty messed up. Dog competitions, horse competitions, like a really big taste of what's going on all around us right now already occurred for me in childhood. And when I walked back through my childhood, reparented myself thanks to you and our 6 month sessions, that really helped. And I would say a shamanic initiation like 3 years ago for sure. Especially I'm not a very patient waiter. So I did invite for the first time interdimensional beings for a week and a half straight because I didn't believe it was working. And then it just worked. And I'm still here to live to tell the tale, but I didn't think I was going to be.
Yeah. Well, tell us about the experience you had. What was that like for you? Because that was my experience as well. I mean, my first time doing CE5, even though I was successful and I caught, evidence on video and on audio, I didn't see or experience anything. It wasn't until the third time when a really powerful being showed up and cracked me open that everything changed. So, what was your experience?
Um, I guess being ripped apart without physically being ripped apart. Like literally, like it felt like somebody was trying to pull my heart through my pore of my skin and strangle it. I felt so much love, but I grew up with abuse was love.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when someone showed me love, I made sure this was not a plan. I made sure to rain acid on everything and pretty much punish anyone. The next day I would wake up like a complete monster. I flipped the furniture in my house. I was out of control. Like until I really it didn't get better until I accepted I am a shaman for life and I'm not going to run from it because it's going to get me. It's coming. It's either resistance or love. So,
yeah.
but love was just as painful as abuse, and abuse is easier, and it was familiar.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear you bring that up. Not that you went through that. I don't wish that on anybody.
Oh, I definitely accept that my soul signed up for like the biggest challenge ever.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
doubt it at all.
I think the way you described it, it may have been an intense, perhaps extreme experience, but I think it is something that every human is going to have to experience on
Can you?
some level because, when you're back, you're frozen again. There you are. Okay. I think every human is going to have to experience this on some level as we go through this shift. And definitely anybody who communicates with a true higher dimensional being, what's going to happen is that, that higher dimension, as you said, your heart, but like your heart was, like being pulled out of your chest.
Almost like it was imploding on its way out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Ew.
so we are higher dimensional beings in our soul, and our soul literally physically resides in our heart. And so when we connect with higher dimensional beings, the soul expands, but we have all of these third dimensional armor that protects us. And everybody, I don't care who they are, if they've been through a lot of challenges like you and I have, then there's going to be a lot of pain surrounding the soul. And even the best, most well-adjusted person, when they feel this kind of energy, the first thing is going to be, it's going to be frightening because,
It is frightening. You feel very vulnerable.
yeah,
You can't even run from it.
to be
Yeah.
seen and loved at that level, in order for us to really experience it, it has to bump into that armor of all of the protection. Like you said, the next day you're flipping out and acting,
Like a
seemingly complete.
child having a huge temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because not only that, not only do we bump into that big fear or that big pain armor, but also we're attacked, like you said, it's easier, the abuse is easier because we understand it, it's part of a
Right.
third dimensional reality, so
Yeah.
we feel like we're protecting ourselves. This is why people go, why do I keep going after these abusive people? And well, it's
Well,
because
yeah.
you understand, it makes you feel safe even though it doesn't feel good. So ironically, when we're loved at that level, our human reaction is to fight against it and to run away. So I'm really glad you brought that up, and and I'd love to hear now because it sounds like you've had some resolution. You've come.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that part as well.
Yeah. Well, I went through all the normal Thunder Wizard student things you explain that happens when you have like a teacher. I was so impatient. I was like, "Oh my God, can ego, can you just stop? Like, I really would like to be doing this." I couldn't lay on a couch, and I had to restart your. I really liked your guided journeys. We bought your package, the Malshan package and the Five Elements package and the lockdown package. And I had to restart that thing like 30 times. And I had earbuds in, and my kids were sleeping, and my husband was sleeping. Like, hello. I really tried to set myself up for success. So I'm like over here in a fight with myself, like, come on. But it really, with all my efforts, I have to say, when my words aligned with my intentions, I have a heck of a time with terminology. Um, so I wasn't giving permission. I wasn't inviting, my higher self. I go through the whole list, not wasting time
Yeah.
because things are getting intense. So like, I heard this thing in a long time movie, Step into Liquid. They say you have to match power with power when you're surfing like 60-foot waves. And my husband loves surfing. So he has this movie. We watched it a trillion times. But, I kind of take it that seriously because I just, I finally got my words together. I kept listening to what you were saying. I would stay up until my husband woke up for work, which was like 3:30, and then I would go to bed because kids woke up at 9. And it was like straight college study work for 3 years because I was watching you a year before, like 6 months or a year before you did your interdimensional meditation. And it was a lot of fun. It didn't get real until we did that. And then, a whole bunch of work. And then we did the Milton meditation. They followed me around for days. I pretty much had to lay on the couch because I had so much energy around me. But I I repeat, I don't like these word affirmations unless I really resonate with them and they're really powerful. Like, we're all worthy of love. So I'll put notes as my passwords, just all of it. Because they're worked really hard to subliminally program us. So I applied the exact same methods to a shaman awakening because that's what was happening. I'm like, well, I'm going to get ripped apart anyway. Why wait? I
Exactly.
don't want to die slow.
That's exactly,
I
yeah.
can't stand that. Like,
I,
let's get it over with. I'd like
I,
to learn. I'd like to be able to handle, like, for a while, I was, so much energy was going through me. I am so grateful to be a stay-at-home mom because there's no way I could go to work or do anything anywhere around anyone during this time.
yeah.
We simplified our life. A few people told me that's where you're headed anyway. So I had to let go of a lot of attachments. First, I had to understand what attachments were, what it looked like, and, just defining everything. I just defined everything. And I didn't stop until I felt like I found the thing, like kind of how I found your channel. I found your channel a while ago. And then my husband brought up something about runes. Because, of course, I was projecting myself onto him and like forcing him to do what I was doing. Of course. Typical. But anyway, I found you again and he really liked you. And then, he's got his own path. So I kept going. And I mean, he definitely has a degree in what we have here because he's heard it all. He's seen it all. He's heard it all. He's a very patient man. 10 years. Well, our whole life, actually, but 10 years straight. And, I'm at this point where I'm bored because I walked through the runes twice. Yeah, I did because I had to paint them on the paper. That was really hard. And then I actually had to get my book out and you know, like you were walking the trail, the Appalachian Trail or the trail that goes right across England. Like, you don't know how long you're walking. You don't know what you're running into. You don't really know how long it's going to take. And, I got to the mother rune of Berkana and I broke in half because, that revolves around a lot of the mother. And it's not like we didn't like each other, but, her mom didn't give her, from what I understand, I'm a shaman now. My mom had her chance. My grandmother had her chance, and it all is very crystal clear at this point. So I'm not taking this as a joke anymore. And I wouldn't really recommend everybody take the route that I take unless they're really sitting down and just listening. Sitting still for me is almost torture. Not now, but it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for filling us in. And I definitely resonate and relate to what you're saying. And I'm really happy to hear that. We haven't talked in a long time, so it's
Yeah.
good to catch
That
up.
killed me too. Just to face that I wouldn't be in session. I was like, "Oh my gosh." But I looked at what would you call, I guess, the sacredness and meaning of all that. And, it was always going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the light beings are here. They've showed up before you got here, so they're very, very excited and interested in sharing some ideas with you. So I can tell you, I've made a mental note of, they're very excited and telling me this and telling me that. So
Okay.
they've been saying that they are going to bring you more power. So more power.
Great.
Yeah, oh yeah, more power is coming your way. See what else? She has something very special that not a whole lot of people have, which is the understanding of who comes from where. All right, so that just came to me. So I don't know what any of that means, but I'm sure that'll become apparent to you later. She's got a tool for bringing people's consciousness to their awareness, which is why she's had such a challenging journey. It is to be able to give other people practical tools to make the shift. So in other words, you're on the front lines,
Yeah.
and what you're experiencing is what the whole human race, as we were talking about, is going to
I already did
experience.
all this.
So you're going to be one of the, you're going to be one of the soldiers that's going to be there on the front line, doing, like a medic, doing triage as people are waking up and flipping out. And as we said, I mean, I think this is coming for everybody to whatever degree, but I think everybody's going to experience that same kind of shock of what it's like to be truly loved, to be truly seen. And I was thinking about this. Oh, I've been thinking about it for a while, but I was thinking about it today. We've got Dr. Stephen Greer out there, and he's got the receipts for
Yeah.
everything. So it's not just like me. I'm just talking my experience and what I think. And he's actually got the physical receipts of the existence and disclosure and all that. And but you don't hear it. You don't hear him. You don't see him every week on Joe Rogan or on the news telling.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely working.
And it's because people
It's
aren't ready. They don't
yeah.
want to know the truth. They want to hear the garbage. They want to hear the nonsense. And so that time is going to come to an end. And when it does, people like you are going to be on the front lines to help people as they go through the experience of awakening to being seen and loved in a higher frequency.
Yeah, I think the biggest struggle is, I don't know, being more present on, you know, I can only compare it to, and I've always compared it to a thoroughbred, waiting for the bell, waiting for the gate to open.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of horses, and some of them are calm, and some of them, they're foaming at the mouth or sweating. And like went through all the motions, all of them. Now I'm just standing there, and they're like, "Hey, gates open," and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah. This is a challenging period. It's challenging for me as well.
Because it feels like it's here, but I don't know if I'm feeling like, you know, this 10-second countdown in slow motion, or like we gotta go now,
Yeah.
and don't believe it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's I'm experiencing that. I'm working with other people who are also having that same experience. Like it's just right there. We could just grab onto it. All right. So I'm interested in hearing more from the light beings,
Yeah.
you specifically. So do you have any questions or concerns they can respond to?
Um, well, I did have a concern, but that seems to be okay now.
They just said they want you to know that you're safe. That's the first thing that just popped in my head.
That's nice. Because I feel like I need to go to Missouri right now, pick up and go. But I'm also getting this feeling, I've literally been brought back to the same county and born in this county. And I've just been brought back. It's a beautiful county, but all the things that you don't want to be around. And
So
it's,
as you were talking, what I saw in my mind, it's hard to explain, but so sort of like the bubble of where you are, where you're living, and I'm seeing that transforming. Like you're staying in the same place, but the the picture around you is transforming. So that gives me the feeling that being where you are is a there's some power where you are. So where you live, there's some power that you connect to.
I think what they're talking about is a Stargate.
Okay. Yeah.
Because for a while it was like, you know, all these grandiose ideas that you don't think you can do. Well, I've had it. And it's either like a portal in the sky. I know the significance of, you know, us having an energetic connection, not actually being physically there. So, but in the, if you will, daydream, everybody was physically there, like Stonehenge style in formation, opening this loving portal, and nothing terrible happened. It was like it was always meant to be. And it got redefined as like a Stargate, and that our frequency is the key code. So, you know, it had a lot to do with the runes in a
A lot of
specific
energy,
way.
a lot of energy just came through as you said that.
Yeah. And I'm
So
pregnant. I'm
yeah,
like 12 weeks pregnant. And
yeah,
I had like a miscarriage on Thursday. I really did. I went through all the subtle signs of labor, the whole damn thing. I flipped out inside on Sunday. I was in bed crying all day. You know, I was totally accepting to the miscarriage. But then I was like, I thought I got my monthly cycle. And I thought, you know, this is a lot of hormones. I don't know between all the energy from the sun and everything. So I checked myself in to a really good psychiatric ward, and they sent me to the hospital, and I'm pregnant. And that little baby's just chilling in there. And they're like, there's plenty of fluid in there. So I don't know, but I really went from like extreme walking portal, like I was in 5D, but I could only see 3D,
yeah, I've been there.
like 24/7, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like kind of concerned for my physical being, right? But now I feel this sense of like I'm still pregnant, but I've been pregnant. This will be my 7th pregnancy, and I'm serious. This is literally like 5D is inside of you, and like you don't know shit about 3D. You don't even understand it anymore, especially now, because before I didn't do a shaman initiation. And the baby that left just said, don't worry, I just really missed you. And I just was visiting. So I don't know what was, you know, I guess I do know, but, you know, you kind of feel like you don't know.
So
And
so just to be clear, you're still pregnant though.
yeah,
So you think there was like
a
a
twin.
shift change?
I don't know. I just,
Somebody came in and said, "Okay, tap. I'm coming in."
yeah, you know what? I kind of felt like you're right because a few weeks before the miscarriage, I kind of felt like, you know, I was growing physically, but I'm like, I can feel the soul going in and out because of the energy and it feeling so quiet, you know? Like that little baby is only like this big and I can feel it bumping around in there. It's so much. And then it was just so quiet, but you know, I don't panic because I tell the doctors, like, I'm not going to listen to them. I listen to my body and they want to do all these things. And I'm like, no. But, and I'm always right. So, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm not pregnant, but I know I can feel the baby is still there, but my emotions, my hormones are as if I'm not pregnant, but everything's checked out. I got checked out. They're like perfect. They were more concerned with like what was going on. I guess maybe, I might have a little bit of a UTI. So they handed me things for that, and I'm like, but what about the baby? Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, the baby's okay. They did blood work, everything like that, and it's just so weird. It's like the weirdest thing, and just to make it a little weirder, 10 years ago, Dylan said, oh, I thought it would be super cool to have 7 kids. Never planned 7 kids. In fact, we've been pretty abstinent for like spiritual reasons and busy reasons. And then around April 1st, we did it. And April 1st, I conceived. And it was like this whole spiritual awakening again. I was like one with the sun in the chair all day. And everything, I mean, the kids, the formation of the trees, everything was like I was a mushroom. Not that I was on mushrooms, but if you could live life like a mushroom for a day, that's you're just straight connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I'm sitting here right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy surrounding, like when you were talking about that Stargate, I felt a lot of energy
Yeah.
from them. So they're very interested in that. So do you have any specific questions?
Um, I'd like to be doing something. I don't necessarily I know an equal exchange of energy is safe and healthy, but I'm not necessarily looking for like to make money. But I am ready to, have like a social life because I am surrounded by so many great people and it's so lonely. Like everyone's like, your kids are so wonderful. You're so wonderful. Oh, you're doing such a great job. Just for years, nobody comes over, nobody calls. They act like they have to send a letter and messenger pony. So I'm like, I'm really bored. I know it's kind of funny. I homeschool my kids all I'm at home all day doing these shaman things. We all do it together. Um, kind of feel like that's kind of a part of it. The kids, Bodhi just like straight order that you should be doing it. And so kind of curious like what I can be doing. What do I need to do? Do I need to do shamanic homeschool, runes? I'm kind of scared. There's a little fear that, my kids' motor mouths are going to blast off all this rune information. I'm just kind of like those people don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit I don't want to go boundaries, respect, like that has to be there with runes. I don't want to blow anybody up unexpectedly.
Okay, so let's see. What do you guys have to say in response to what should she be doing? What do you suggest
Like
that she
right
do?
now.
So I'm just going to tell you what I'm hearing. They're telling you to center yourself,
Okay.
ground yourself, relax into who you are. So
I
there's a
don't know
lot.
that I.
You're responding, like you said, you're chomping at the bit, waiting to go. So that's scattering your energy and your focus. So the feeling that I'm getting is that is also your defense mechanism against this higher frequency. So you are like what I'm seeing you as is I'm seeing you as this very, very powerful, I mean, it's definitely a goddess figure, like a but the energy that's coming from that being is very constant and powerful. And so what's happening to you on the physical level, the human, is responding to that expansion. So you're expanding into that. And you're also in and out of this dimension. So what your brain is doing, your brain is trying to find a way to bring you back. And so what it's ironically doing is it's going in a bunch of different directions. So that feeling of wanting to do something, like I just need to do something right now. I got to do something right now.
Like in my soul path.
Yeah, well, yeah, just
Yeah.
in general, that
Yeah.
feeling is that there is a higher frequency that is coming to you, and it's connected to this Stargate idea. So you might even start looking at yourself as being a Stargate, if not the mistress of the Stargate. Okay. But what's happening is as you're coming in and out, because it's just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of symbolic of what's happening in this internet transmission is that you're, and
Yeah.
then so and that, but that's what's happening with you.
Yeah.
You're phasing in and out, and it's a very, very challenging place to be.
It
So
almost,
let me be clear about how this is happening with a lot of people. So it's happening with me, it's happening with others, and it's happening with you. And you're going to experience it if you have, as you already have, more intensely, even than I am. And that has to do with your Shakti feminine nature. Okay, so they're giving me the thumbs up on that one. So surrendering to that, surrendering to what you experience as feeling chaotic. And so the meditation is to be in that feeling of being scattered, to be in that. And here's what I tell myself. I say, I am ascending. I am ascending. And I tell myself that because the energy, when it comes through me and it feels like it's tearing me apart, I'm reminding myself that that isn't tearing me apart. It's expanding me. I'm ascending. Understand that this world right now is in the grips of complete, total craziness. And it's because of this energy. And I mean, look at what's happening to Los Angeles. I mean, it's just,
yeah. Again.
yeah, right. And so the world is completely losing it. And that is because we are heading towards, as you said, so we're like this, right? And there are points in time where, here we can call this 5D, this is 3D. There are points in time where they overlap.
Yeah.
And then they're phasing in and out like that. So that's our experience. So it's going to be important to accept. And what I'm hearing you say also is that you're coming to the realization, I'm all by myself in this, and I have to accept that I am what I'm being shown. Because if you fight with it,
Yeah.
it will destroy you, and you will lose that battle. I've
You'll get
seen it.
plowed over by a lot more energy.
I've been seeing this happen with people who have been expanding into this energy. And then what they do is they fight with themselves about it. They don't feel worthy of it.
Yeah.
They don't feel worthy of being walking deities, walking stargates, whatever it is. And it's okay to have the doubts. I'm not saying you're not going to feel crazy because I still feel it. That's okay. Feeling like you don't understand is okay. It's when, in order to feel safe, we grab onto something so that we can then tell ourselves, I'm just this tiny person. No, I'm part of this reality. I'm part of this
Yeah.
community. I'm okay. I'm a good person. I'm not a screw up. I'm not crazy. Once you grab onto that, it's going to pull you back into that, not you specifically. It will pull somebody back into that. And that's when people start losing it.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage you to go in the other direction. So, um, you
Walk
and I,
into the fire,
yeah.
essentially. Like the
So,
rest, my whole life, I've always felt I was in like some really sketchy scenarios. I was just hanging out with my friend. And I'm like, Lynn, we're going to get in so much trouble. We need to go. And I always was right there. And I'm not saying like I didn't get caught. That wasn't really the point. The point is it wasn't my business and I wasn't involved and I wasn't even guilty by association, but I saw what was going on. Like I was a physical witness of what was really going on. And
so
like I
you,
was okay. I was safe, and in other scenarios, um, like the car failing. I mean, the scariest thing that's ever happened is I had a 2500 old salt truck, and my daughter, my first one, about 2 years in the back, in her car seat and everything, and we went down this really steep hill to the river to the general store, and the brake line went. No, stop, and then just happened. We gotta make sure we live through and tell the tale. I always end up pushing through. And on the other end of it, I'm a parent of 4 daughters and one on the way. And I'm like, look at all of this stuff and it's coming towards my town. But I know, right? I know my energy attracts the same vibration and I don't hold that vibration. So I already know that. But like my physical self is like, I don't want anything to do with all of these bad decisions these people are making. So I need to move to the middle of nowhere where I used to live with all the southern rednecks in the middle of nowhere.
well, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm a big believer in living where you're comfortable. So I
Right.
can understand that. But my sense of you is that I talked about how the 3D and the 5D are phasing in and out like this. This is you. You're phasing in and out like that. And so it's going to be really important for you to, as I said, acknowledge that feeling of being alone is real
Yeah.
because there's people on the front line. So the difference between the person on the front line who acts as a catalyst for the shift and the completely bonkers, lunatic is just simply where you choose to put your
Yeah.
focus and the actions that you
Oh
take.
yeah. Yeah.
So
I would totally love an excuse to be the greatest villain again. It sounds like such a great idea.
yeah, and
But
that
it's not
but
gonna work. It's not
that's
gonna do
about
anything.
that is about wanting to belong.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from. Like you said, we are being the narrative uh, hypnotizes us all the time into something. So
Yeah.
that is the most important battle.
Yeah.
That is the battle that's what's going on in LA.
Yeah.
All that stuff is about people trying to be connected and be part of the group and be okay. I've been talking about this on the channel that, even in the New Age spiritual group, people want to be part of some collective. And this isn't what's happening. What's happening is that we are individually transforming. We don't transform as a collective. We transform individually. And that is a very lonely, frightening, and feels very unsafe. The more power somebody has, the more frightening it's going to feel. The more intense, the more imbalanced it's going to feel.
You know, I don't know what it's like on your end, but I'm kind of getting hits over here too, and I've always kind of been in like this idolized, want to be her champion dog showing, horseback riding, whatever, public spotlight, if you will. And, I've just been kind of like thankfully hermiting. But now that this is going like public, it kind of reminded me, like, that's kind of like when you're grabbing the door handle and you're about to open the door, there's no closing the door. Because for me, now everybody knows, and that means I really got to put my money where my mouth is. That's just how my temperament always has been. You know, you got to go through with it. You need to get going with what you're going to do, what we're talking about.
So talk to me more about this Stargate idea.
So I've been listening to another lady. I try to keep a handful, you know, and especially now there's a lot of conflation going. But she speaks a lot about stargates in a very similar way that you speak about interdimensional meditation. She's had a lot of near-death experiences. And I guess it's not really different from you. It's just, she's a female. So I guess maybe I pick up on what she's saying in some ways better than you. And like it changes all the time because sometimes I need more masculine energy and I just don't get what she's saying. But she was saying, and it really resonated with me, the moment that she said, this whole DNA shift inside of you, everything's clearing out, new is coming in, your key code is coming online, which is your frequency. But it isn't just, I don't want to say it's like, it's definitely not leaving anyone out, but there's definitely a group of people who came here with the intentions to be a walking key code and be like, bang, let's go, because she's like done that before. She spent a lot of time in the hospital, had asthma. So like she spent a lot of time in like the astral realms, navigating that. And she said, you could walk up to this thing with the thought to go across the world. And the moment you step foot in it, you're there. That's how people go visit each other. You want to go have a cup of coffee with your friend, you walk through, bang. And it's not like we're separating physical reality. We're just in a higher frequency living our physical lives because we came here to walk to 5D physically. That's the whole point. That's what's happening right now. So, I mean, it's like caterpillar, I had a caterpillar come in my house. It attached to me, wouldn't get off. It was so great. And it started cocooning in my house. I don't know where it is, but my daughter saw the same color caterpillar turn into it was a butterfly. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's the one in the house. And that was right around the time that I was already digested the Stargate. And I was like, all right, I guess we're doing this,
So you said something about that you saw all of us together.
Oh, yeah, it
What was
was,
that? What was that?
I think, I really believe that what that was about is, there's a handful of us placed around the world that, and this is everybody signed up for different things, okay? But there's a handful of people who signed up for something very specific. And I feel like it's a frequency thing, like how much power can you actually hold without causing yourself physical harm, because you will, and we have, and it will keep happening if we don't keep moving forward. And I just feel like, one day we're all going to be meditating, I guess, let's just be realistic, right? We're not going to all end up maybe in the same field, standing in a circle with our hands, chanting certain this or that or whatever with, shamanic, music, and everybody from different walks of shamanism, but like the powerful ones all together. I think where I'm at now is, because it takes a while to digest that, and it just was it was shoving itself down my throat. I just couldn't let go. I'm like, I'm not obsessing about it. I'm not sitting here.
So I just want to be clear. So you have seen
Yeah,
in your visions, you have seen like people
all of you.
physically together.
Yeah, you, Thundra, um, Gabo, and Pamela. My friend Pamela, she's pretty intense. And there's a few, my friend Lindsay, like they both have like extraordinary voices. But what I've learned is like when you're vocalizing the five elements that you have in your book and that you've walked us through, it's a little bit tricky to find those videos, but I found them. And that's not normal singing. So people think they need to sound like they're on the radio. And when you're singing a shamanic, sacred seed sound, like that's not what it sounds like. But it really is powerful when you are able to reach that level. And, I did find a pretty good shaman playlist, and it's all of that, all the runes, all of the five elements. So I've been practicing that, and I can match that lady's voice. And I mean, I've been taunted about how monotoned I am, and terrible of a voice and this and that. So I don't really sing, but I'll sing, the five elements is easy. So, I think that really kind of putting the visuals together with like what I've learned about stargates is, there's probably a stargate near you. There's definitely a stargate here. If we're the stargate, we're the stargate. But if we're not actually the stargate, then we're definitely the key, and we're definitely probably going to be walking through our local stargate together at the same time. But yeah,
Okay, so as I'm listening to you, I'm getting energy and I'm getting like pictures in my mind. I believe I'm getting from the light beings about you. So what is happening is like you remember the old televisions where you used to have to play with like the squiggly lines, and you would have to get it just right, and then the picture would come in, and as you were doing that, if it didn't, it would like it'd be blurry or it'd be
or
pixelated.
like the pixelated, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's where you're at right now.
yeah,
You are being The frequency is being dialed in. Um, but for this to happen, you need to also unify yourself. So that is a conscious decision, because if you know the yin and yang, since we're talking about that,
yeah,
the masculine energy and the feminine energy.
yeah. Got this. Been
So
practicing my homeschool.
there you go.
Yeah.
So what happens with feminine energy, if it's not aligning with the masculine, is it's like a live wire. It's going like this, and there's sparks flying everywhere. And this
Yeah.
is what's happening with you. There's so much powerful feminine energy that is now being awakened within you. This is that this whole Stargate thing with you. You're seeing people coming together. This is happening for you. So you're going to have to really align yourself to the masculine, whether that's in meditation or whatever. You have to align yourself
Oh
to
my.
that power that will then allow the feminine to do its job and wrap around. Because if you take the masculine away, it does this. So you cannot escape the power that's coming to you. You cannot escape it. And so again, the question is whether or not you're going to be a live wire, or whether or not you're going to turn into this powerful feminine energy that's going to awaken, birth everything. So what I'm suggesting is that you acknowledge all of the feelings, acknowledge all of the pixelated in and out of wherever you are, and then make the decision to focus on that, whether it's you're focusing on Shiva or some very strong masculine spiritual energy, and asking and seeking to have that bring you some coherence to this. What I'm leading up to is that your instincts are absolutely correct, that you are moving into the place where you are going to be. Like, it's not like you're going to be this, here's a bunch of people here and you're over here and, oh, there she is. You're going to be this huge being out here that's going to surround all of these other people and align them into surrounding, aligning, and protecting them into this shift. But you have to, as you have done, as you've been doing, continue to fight against the chaos inside of you that's to find a place where you can be accepted and connect, all that, that people do. We want to, as you say, attached. We're looking to be accepted and part of the community, part of the world, part of the narrative. So the narrative is coming apart, and that's not going to work for you. So you're going to have to accept being on your own. And you may not be able to get the coherence in this physical world anywhere. You may have to live in another dimension while still physically being here. It's very difficult.
I've almost accepted that. I guess I've been more comfortable with that, especially after what I've experienced being pregnant, because it's not like you have a choice. You're a fucking walking portal, whether you want to be or not.
Right.
And it's not stopping. It's 24/7. And then the sun blows, and then you're like, oh, here comes my normal shaman experience. It's like, why do I do that? Like, why do I say, oh, I'm bored? Because I really am. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm bored
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
What we're bored with is
I feel like everyone's fucking off.
this,
Like,
this third dimensional video game is
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
We're
I can't even take it seriously. And everyone's like,
right.
you need to take it seriously. This is the most important time of your life. And I'm like, no F's given. Yeah. It's a joke.
Yeah.
What they're doing isn't going to get us anywhere. They're actually going backwards right now, which is
it's worse
part
than
of the process.
It's worse than a joke.
Yeah.
And it is. So that feeling of boredom is you're bored with this reality that is coming apart. So the challenging part, I'm going through it as well. The challenging part is, okay, this is over. So we focus to where we know things are going, but that hasn't physically manifested yet. And the challenging part is we're going to feel like we're losing our minds.
I think I tried doing that on Sunday, but I was really proud of myself because, I did this in 2018 for the exact same reasons at the exact same time of the month. So I guess the month of June is just really difficult for me, I guess, with Gemini, the twins. I don't know. But it's always in the middle of June, right before the summer solstice. And I'm like, I gotta go.
So it'll be helpful for you to put that time into meditation. And it's almost like for you, what happens in meditation, like you've said, you explained it. So what I saw you do is you saw everybody there. You saw everybody in the new frequency, and then you immediately downplayed it and said, I know that's not real. So I want to encourage you to understand that is reality.
Yeah.
This is the dream. So
I've been kind of like trying to not disrespectfully project onto other people, but like my answers are changing to people's questions, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I think I probably just like broke a circuit. They kind of just like walked away. I don't know if they
that's okay.
That.
Look, it's not necessary for them to understand and agree with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
I guess
this is really important for you. You do not have to verbally teach them, inform them. You don't have to do that. Your energy will do it.
Yeah.
And so
I'm starting Yeah.
So continue to do your spiritual practices and then let people come to you. Look, I've been losing students right and left lately, like past couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's because of this. It's because, as you know, if people work with me, they're going to have to deal with themselves. They're going to have to look and see themselves. So people are running away, not because I'm not teaching them, but because they
I
can't tolerate
I
what's happening. So to make it about you here is that this is what you're going to be able to do. And hold on to that vision. This is important. If you hold on to that vision of seeing everybody, this isn't your fantasy of this is what I want. This is what you saw. This is what you experienced. Grab onto that and continue to see if you can go deeper into that vision, because when you do, that will then show up in this third dimensional reality, and it's not going to be boring.
I kind of
You won't be bored over there. I
yeah.
guarantee.
I kind of feel like I I kind of have like reached in a little further, and I kind of feel like I'm turning into like one with it. It's kind of hard to feel. It really does feel like almost like I've never fainted before, but if you were to like melt or faint and you're just up for question, like there's no going back. But this is like more of a physical concern, you know? Kind of. I don't think I'm not afraid of freaking out or losing my mind. It's just kind of like, yeah, yeah, like
Yeah,
some
so
Harry Potter shit.
what if your vision is accurate? What if your vision is
Yeah,
that physically we will shift into a completely different world?
yeah. I've accepted that my children are more powerful than me and like they're not a concern.
No, they're going to be fine.
I've accepted that there is no effing way that I signed up to be with some my loving husband. Like I look at him sometimes while I'm tripping out because he pokes the tiger toe and he thinks his jokes are funny sometimes. And I'm like, you know what? I think that you're probably like some really big wizard too, because I can't imagine all this stuff that's happening in
Everybody
my
is.
life. Like
Everybody.
we came here on the same frequency with the same goals. Yours is masculine and mine's feminine, but like you're not getting out of this, buddy. You
Yeah.
know,
Listen, everybody,
poking the bear.
everybody is. It's just a
Yeah,
question of whether or not they have awakened to it. It's the only
yeah,
thing and so
yeah.
some of us are going to awaken early, and you are one of them. So, what I encourage you to do is to double down on the energy practices, double down on the meditation, and don't indulge in the, I think I'm losing my mind. I wonder if this is real or not. And who am I to say this? Don't indulge in that.
Yeah.
Don't go and tell people, drive up on people, hey, the shift is coming. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just be in it. And when people are ready, they'll start asking. Trust me, that's gonna happen. Just and spend time in meditation. How would you, if you were a shaman in the fifth dimension, what would you be doing? Spend time in that, meditating on that. Now, let me explain to you the difference between the masculine and the feminine when it comes to manifestation. The difference is that the masculine is really good at talking things through. I can talk my ass off, and that's my job. The feminine, their job is to embody it, to physically experience it. In our ethnic tradition, the shamans, the way it used to work is that the feminine would go off in the astral, and then they'd come back and they didn't know what they saw. And then the masculine, the male shaman, would then explain what she experienced. And that would give her something it would give her an understanding, and it would give her something that she could ground herself in. So you're on the extreme end of the feminine. So you have to accept that about yourself. So stop trying to figure it out. That's not your job. Your job is to physically embody it so that when people are around you, without you saying anything, they're going to start to shift.
It's kind of funny actually when I go places like family gatherings. It's just noticeable now. I'm like, what's Aunt C doing over there? She looks like she could use a hand. And I'm like, I think it's probably, something that is so bizarre she would never do or say or anything like that. I'm like, whoa. So it's like things, people do change when I come around. And
Yeah.
like my neighbors, I really like my neighbors and I really want to hang out. And I know everyone's busy, but I really want to hang out. I'm bored. Just want to hang out a little bit. Wouldn't you know, I finally give in and I go over there, and it's the day that her mother died last year. Like, oh, well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Obviously, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take anything away. They're so amazing. But yeah, so I don't know. I kind of wonder if this idea to move to Missouri, it's mainly because, we really need to feed our kids. Like, it's getting expensive. We've been making more money than most of the population, and it goes less and less far. So it's not really for fear reasons, but we really need to, like, we just need an acre for crying out loud. It's like $1 million where we live. Like, so there's that. But it would help me, at least I feel like, to relax and actually spread my wings, because here I spread my wings and I can feel my neighbor's entire life. Like right here on the other side of this wall is my neighbor's townhome, and thank God Alexa is a little more on my level. But I mean, the more I embody myself, the more I can like feel the entire neighborhood, and then gosh forbid I get a little sniffle. And I'm just like, whoa, where am I? Like I like live in a shamanic state of grounding from every angle, and I'm like, it's not working. And
Yeah. It's not working because we're not where we belong.
yeah,
We're not supposed to be here anymore.
yeah,
We're supposed to be in that new place, but this is your responsibility.
yeah,
Your responsibility is to see that place and to keep
going.
envisioning. You will birth it into existence. So we're all depending on that.
How
And
do
if you
you,
work with the light beings, they're going to start talking to you like you're a god or a goddess. They're going to start telling you that you are the goddess who creates the multiverse and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear me, but you've gone frozen. There you are. Okay, so what I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to ask them to show you who you
okay,
are. Look into their eyes and say, show me who I am. How do you see me? And be prepared, because they are going to tell you the most frightening things you've ever heard, which are, oh, you don't remember? You're the goddess who created everything, and they're going to take you places and show you how powerful you
so
are.
far I've been shown like I'm like a feminine Odin to a degree. It's really hard to wrap my head around that because I do like my
Yeah,
background. So I just was,
don't wrap your head around.
yeah.
Don't wrap your head around it. Don't try and figure it out. It's not possible. You're asking a two-dimensional creature to understand
Yeah,
up and down. They don't know what up and down
right.
is. They can't figure it out. You're
Yeah.
not going to be able to figure out what it means to be the feminine aspect of Odin. All right. So, and that's just the beginning. It's
I'm
going to
gonna,
expand. It's going to get even. I mean, you've heard some of the crazy stories they've told me.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm not unique. So, I can tell the people who are struggling with the concept of it. I got a comment just the other day of somebody basically was saying, how narcissistic and full of myself I am, and how I must be so miserable and all that. And what I got from that was, because he said, I'm not like you. I don't need to be the hero of the, and I'm thinking to myself, Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why would you not want to be the hero of something? And it's
It's
because
too
of
much
what,
love.
right, it's what we're
It's too much
talking
love.
about, that he isn't able to expand into the idea of being a higher dimensional being, a God, because that's what every human is when they shift out of this reality. So the resistance is to keep ourselves small and little and unimportant. And so for you, your energy is so expansive. That's like you said, you expand around everything around you.
Very fast.
Accept that. In meditation, if you're meditating and you can feel what's going on next door and three houses down, instead of fighting that, send your energy to them. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to go over and give them any advice. Just send your feminine power to them. Let them do whatever they want with it. They're going to respond positively, negatively. That's not your business. But if you don't allow yourself to be this expansive mother goddess, then it's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage you to do that and be okay that you're physically looking around and seeing a world that doesn't exist anymore, because that's what you're telling me. My eyes are looking at a world that doesn't exist. And I'm meditating. I'm in the real world where all of the people are. All my people are there. And I'm looking around here and it's just accept that. Accept that you're just living in a false reality. That your perception
It's
is
really,
in a false reality and your astral body
yeah.
is in the true reality.
It really gets interesting when I'm in my local organic grocery store with the kids. We go there all the time, straight down the road. And they have a question about some irrelevant organic grocery store question. And I don't lie to my kids. Like, they know. Like, they're totally level with where I'm at as a shaman. Like, they can definitely do this whole thing. So I give them the shaman answer. And like, it's not that I'm even aware of where I am or whatever. And I come back to, and I go back to grocery shopping and I kind of look around and all these people are like, so it's nice because like now and you know just like my kids, like I can't just, I'm like, it's fake, it's not real. Like it looks real, but when you start messing around with it, it's not going to be reliable for you. It's not the way. It's not the way. So it's hard for them too sometimes,
Yeah.
because like my neighbor came over and like, no offense, but like there's some things that other kids read and it's pretty strong negative magic, and I'm just kind of like, go figure, that would walk into my yard. But they didn't know. Um, but I was just like, seriously? Oh my God. Oh, you gotta get that out of here. I think I told you about it actually. But yeah, some pretty interesting things happen in my life. And it's, a lot with the kids kind of gets me distracted. Like some kids get out there and they're like, well, if you don't do this, then I'm gonna do this. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's a total distraction and it's not my life or my business, but my kids know how to respect and, they know how to respond. So my daughter's like, well, that's not how you be a very good friend. So with that going on, I'm like, okay, yeah. Yeah, as soon as I like teach my kids all the things that you've taught me and many other people, yeah, their chatterbox and their energy. I mean, can you imagine four of me? Because they act just like me, just different times of my life. They act just like me. I almost hit the floor sometimes. It's like you walking around sometimes. They're like, that's not good for you. You shouldn't be doing that. It's not going to work very well. because you can't run away from being a shaman. I'm just like, imagine your little kid self following you around and telling you physically, like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, God, I obviously did a good job teaching you. And like, I'm the scariest thing they know to Earth. So they're like not scared of me anymore. And they're just like, what gives, Mom? You look like you're wasting your time over there. Yeah, so
All right. Well, I've enjoyed this.
yeah, me too.
I'm going to put in the description any links that you give me.
Yeah, I'll send
If
them
anybody
over.
wants to connect with you or work with you, we'll put the links in there below. And anyway, this has been very empowering for me to listen to you, and thank you for all the hard work you've put into yourself and continue to put into yourself. And congratulations on what sounds like you went through a pretty scary period just a little while ago, and
Yeah.
you had a lot of strength and knew where to go and what to do. And so I want to thank you for being such a great example for all of us.
Yeah, I
And
can't imagine what those people were going through when I walked through those doors. Like, hey, shaman's here at the psychiatric clinic. Boom!
yeah,
They probably called so many levels after I left. Blew it up.
well, and I hope that you continue to embrace your powerful goddess nature, which
Yeah,
is extremely powerful. I can feel it.
thanks.
Light beings are very clear on that as well. And I look forward to the day when we all physically are at
Yeah,
Stargate. Um, and I believe that that's really going to be where we're going to end up.
yeah.
So, having said that,
All right.
thank you very much. And
Great.
as always, you know where to reach me if anything comes up, if you have any questions, or if you want to connect.
Yeah.
If you'd like to have your own experience with light beings, please come to the live guided interdimensional meditations that we do live every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They're free, and you can go see all of the ones we've done. You just go to the live tab on my YouTube channel, and you can see all of them there in case you can't make the live ones. That's it, my friends. Check out all the other links here in case you want to see all the things that I provide with the sole intent of helping you to expand into your highest 5D awareness and to bring 5D to planet Earth. Thank you very much. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I'll see you all very soon.